I ain't gonna lie to you. I got a 6-1, maybe. I got a 6-1, bruh. Good body shot from Forte. Good right hand from brother. Hey, let me run this by you.
We prepared well. It didn't go like we wanted, like we expected, but we always knew that only one David was gonna prevail. The only thing that's left is to learn from it.
The fight between David Benavidez and David Morrell was an electrifying showdown that kept fight fans on the edge of their seats with its intensity. From the opening bell, both fighters engaged in a fierce slugfest, with each seemingly determined to finish the fight by knockout. As the rounds progressed, it became evident that Benavidez's experience and power began to dominate the contest. However, many boxing professionals have criticized the outcome, calling it a blatant robbery. Social media has been flooded with reactions from fans who believe Morrell was unfairly denied victory. One fan sarcastically tweeted, "David Benavidez gets arrested outside the arena after robbing David Morrell," capturing the widespread sentiment that Morrell was the rightful winner. Even prominent figures in the sport weighed in on the fight. Jermell "Tank" Davis shared his surprise at Morrell's agility, considering his size. Tank tweeted, "This is my first time seeing Morrell fight. Son can move for that size." In a now deleted tweet, Davis went even further, accusing the referee of cheating and suggesting that the officiating was biased in favor of Benavidez. Sports journalist Ariel Helwani also commented on the bout, praising the intensity of the fight. He tweeted, "Benavidez versus Morrell fight is sick, just as good if not better than expected. Love it." While Helwani's remark focused on the excitement of the match, it also acknowledged the closely contested nature of the bout.
Experienced guy, but he's got that Cuban background, with the amateur pedigree, over 100-something fights. He's got experience. Even though he's got a lot less fights professional, he's got experience. He hasn't fought the resume professionally that Benavidez has, so that's in favor of Benavidez. The experience, always important, but also the pedigree, like I said, where he comes from, Cuba, how, you come from that island that from the beginning when you first put those gloves on, it's all about becoming a world champ. Part of it is to escape the communist country, to get to a better life, to get to where you can pursue dreams, to get over here where you can become a world champion. And that is all there. But Benavidez comes from those bloodlines too, where it's all about with him and his father, and his family. It's all about being a champion, staying a champion, being proud, representing yourself in and out.
Combat sports analyst Caposa pointed out the dramatic shift in the final rounds, noting, "Just when that fight settled into a rhythm, Morrell turned up the drama in those last rounds. Great fight, not difficult to score, but it delivered as anticipated." This comment emphasizes the belief that Morrell's performance in the later rounds was strong enough to secure him the win. The animosity between Benavidez and Morrell was evident even before the fight. At a media workout leading up to the bout, tensions reached a boiling point when Benavidez shoved Morrell during a face-off. In response, Morrell threw his title belt at Benavidez, and security had to step in to prevent further escalation. By the fourth round, Morrell stunned Benavidez with a surprising right hook that sent the Mexican fighter to the ropes. Showing vulnerability for the first time in a long while, Benavidez, known for his resilience and relentless pressure, quickly regained his composure after a challenging start. He began landing powerful uppercuts, breaking through Morrell's guard and pushing the Cuban fighter back. Despite being on the back foot for much of the fight, Benavidez remained determined. Reflecting on the match, he admitted, "It was one of my mistakes. Maybe I got going a little too late. I started picking up the pace in the last 3 rounds. I should have done that earlier, but it's something to learn from." During the pre-fight buildup, there was a lot of discussion surrounding Benavidez's relative lack of professional experience compared to his opponent. Morrell, with a solid amateur background and many more professional bouts, seemed to use his experience to his advantage. He was able to control the pace of the fight, slowing it down or speeding it up as he saw fit. Benavidez acknowledged that experience was a factor, saying, "It definitely played a role in the outcome. It wasn't the sole reason for the result, but it certainly had an impact." Benavidez continued to pressure Morrell into the later rounds, showcasing his physical strength and ability to absorb punishment.
Though I never had a huge demand for it, because I think it's a bit early for Morrell. And when you look at his last fight, Riyadh season, David Morrell didn't look that good. But a lot of people don't think David Benavidez looked that good against Volsik. I thought he looked great. I just thought he gassed out, but I thought he looked phenomenal. This fight, though, reminds me a bit of how they moved along Vargas. Remember when Vargas fought Trinidad? People wanted that fight until they saw it. He was a little too young, and he was showing a lot of promise, but I think they moved him along too quickly. Don't be surprised if David Benavidez give him a boxing lesson. David Benavidez, I think he's going to show some movement, shoot the jab, be busy. I think Morrell has a puncher's chance, and I think it's a phenomenal puncher's chance because he's so athletically gifted.
Benavidez and David Morrell, right? This is the type of fights boxing needs. Two young fighters, great fighters in their division. They moved up to 175. They were at 168. The fight wasn't made there, but 175, David said, you know what, let's make this fight happen. The first few pictures, it looks like David has some weight to take off. He looks like the Tyson Fury of the 175, but that doesn't matter, right? It's all about your fighting technique, your fighting style. I think David Morrell has a great opportunity to showcase his skills, but I don't think it'll be enough to beat a David Benavidez. I think David Benavidez has a little bit too much power and too much combinations for David Morrell. David Morrell hasn't, fought anybody that is maybe top 2, top 3. David Benavidez has been in there with Caleb Plant, has been in there with some good fighters. So he is coming into the fight the favorite. But let me know what you guys think of that fight.
By the 8th round, the effects of Benavidez' sustained attacks started to show. Morrell, who had initially been energetic and confident with his showboating and movement, began to slow down. As the fight progressed, it was evident that Benavidez was in control, dictating the pace and steadily building a lead on the unofficial scorecards. By the 9th round, Morrell's energy was visibly depleted, but he attempted to rally in the championship rounds, hoping to steal the final moments of the fight with aggressive bursts. However, Benavidez remained composed, ensuring his lead and continuing to apply relentless pressure until the final bell. Although Benavidez continued to dictate the pace, encouraging Morrell to push forward, a surprising moment occurred near the end of the 11th round when Morrell scored a knockdown on Benavidez. However, controversy emerged when the referee deducted a point from Morrell for punching after the bell. This deduction shifted the momentum back in Benavidez' favor. When the fight concluded, the judges scored it in favor of Benavidez with 2 scores of 115 to 111 and one of 118 to 108, making him the winner by unanimous decision. Despite this, the result faced criticism from WBA lightweight champion Gervonta Tank Davis, who accused the referee of cheating. Davis expressed his frustration on social media, claiming that the referee's actions influenced the outcome of the fight. Benavidez, often referred to as the Mexican Monster, boasts an impressive record of 29 wins, 0 losses, and 24 knockouts. Known for his relentless pressure, powerful punches, and unbreakable will, he has set his sights on becoming the most dominant super middleweight. He is also a potential contender to face boxing superstar Canelo Alvarez. Leading up to the fight, Benavidez was vocal about his disdain for Morrell, accusing him of disrespect and vowing to make their clash a brutal affair. The press conference was a spectacle, showcasing Benavidez' fiery temperament. His aggressive remarks, coupled with a physical altercation, only heightened the drama surrounding the fight. David Benavidez and David Morrell are on a collision course in the ring. If you're wondering about the significance of this matchup, here's the story. I met Morrell when he was just a kid. He told me he was going to be a world champion someday. And sure enough, I ran into him later when he was a world champion. That kind of thing happens to me more often with MMA fighters than with boxers. Benavidez, an American from Phoenix, Arizona, has been active in the boxing world since 2013, although his last fight likely occurred in 2021, with his most recent victory by TKO on March 13th, 2021. He is set to face Jose Uzcategui in an upcoming bout. On the other side, David Morrell, the WBA regular champion, has carved out a reputation as a slick, powerful, and technically gifted boxer. With a perfect record of 9 wins and 9 knockouts, Morrell is eager to prove that he belongs at the top of the super middleweight division, despite his relative lack of experience in professional bouts. During the press conference, Morrell displayed no signs of intimidation. His refusal to shake hands with Benavidez and his bold move of throwing his championship belt at Benavidez' head clearly signaled that he is not backing down. This was a strong statement that he is ready for the upcoming fight. Morrell, in a recent interview, shared his thoughts. The second round, this time is really the secret. I have a plan. I think I have too much power for Benavidez. He's a big guy and he has strong punches, but I have the good left hand. I can hit hard, I have the power, and I have everything.
Was getting going in the last 3 rounds. Maybe I should have done that earlier, but it's something to learn from, and something that happened in that fight that was a factor. 1 second, then Rafael here.
David, I wondered when we were leading up to the fight, there was a lot of discussion about your relative lack of professional experience compared to David. I know you had the great amateur background. He had so many more pro fights. It seemed like that was a factor because he was able to slow it down, speed it up, and do sort of what he wanted at a lot of the times. I wonder if you felt like that the experience level was maybe a little bit much for you. I'd actually like to hear Ronnie's perspective on that also.
It was definitely one of the main factors in this fight where it didn't tilt the balance 100%, but it definitely was something that played a role in the outcome.
For you, there's nothing. I can dance, and that's it. The animosity between Benavidez and Morrell reached a boiling point during a media workout in Miami on December 17th, 2024. What started as tension between the two fighters quickly escalated into a physical altercation, amplifying the anticipation for their upcoming light heavyweight title fight. Benavidez has also acknowledged the personal tension between them, stating, "He doesn't like me, and I don't like him." This animosity was further evident during their media workout, where Benavidez shoved Morrell, prompting Morrell to throw his WBA interim title at him. Canelo Alvarez, the undisputed super middleweight champion, didn't hold back in his comments. He declared that Benavidez had won that fight, saying, "It's clear they don't want him near me. The sport deserves rematches when it's this controversial." Alvarez's remarks also hinted at long-standing speculation about boxing politics, with many believing that Benavidez has been deliberately sidelined from securing a career-defining bout against the sport's biggest star. Alvarez's call for an immediate rematch echoed the broader sentiment among fans and pundits, who felt that the decision hindered the matchups that the public truly wanted to see. The rivalry between Canelo and Benavidez has been one of the most talked about topics in boxing in recent years. The tension between them stems from Benavidez's consistent challenge for Canelo's super middleweight titles, which Canelo has yet to accept. As for Canelo's future in the super middleweight division, he made his stance clear. As for moving back down to 168, that's out the window now. I'm not going back down. I don't care if Canelo ever wanted to fight me and told me to go down to 168. I don't care about the money.
Well, the story with he and I was, I met him when he was a kid, and he told me, "I'm going to be a world champion someday," and then I run into him and he's a world champion. That's happened to me so many times, usually with MMA fighters, not boxers. That's when I was sort of kicking the tires of boxing, and yes, I will watch that fight, if that's the question.
I don't care about any of that. I've been at 168 for a while, 3 years to be exact. I was the #1 contender, but I wasn't given the opportunity. So now I'm here at 175, fighting against the guys who have the courage to step up. I'm actually fighting the real contenders, those who are willing to take on the challenges and fight the top guys. Have I completely lost hope of that fight happening? No, I don't think about that fight anymore. I focus on what's in front of me. The only thing I'm thinking about now is what's on the table and what lies ahead. I knew that this fight could be made, and now that it's happening, that's all I'm focused on. Once this fight is behind me, I'm looking at unifying the titles. Former champion Andre Ward, now an ESPN analyst, provided a more balanced yet pointed analysis. He acknowledged Morrell's technical skill, but sided with Benavidez's case. Ward stated, "Morrell's defense was brilliant, but effective aggression should have swayed things. Benavidez did more to win the rounds." His commentary highlighted the tension between tactical boxing and the eye test of sustained pressure. Ward's remarks shed light on the subjective nature of judging, where elements like clean punching, effective aggression, ring generalship, and defense are valued differently by each official. Meanwhile, veteran trainer and analyst Teddy Atlas offered a scathing critique of the sport, saying, "This is why boxing is dying." Atlas argued that Benavidez landed the harder shots and forced the action, while judges rewarded Morrell's movement, which some dismissed as evasive rather than strategic. Fans resonated with this frustration, feeling that Morrell's slick Cuban style prioritized survival over domination, which clashed with the visceral appeal of Benavidez's relentless attack.
Debut 2013 through 2021. I think he is still fighting. His last fight most likely occurred in 2021. Oh wait, November 13th, he's got an upcoming fight versus Jose. Uzcatagu, Colombian. But his last one was a TKO, took place March 13, 2021. 24, and we got another undefeated.
I think the pure punching power likely goes to Morrell. He's the less experienced guy, but he has that Cuban background with an amateur pedigree, over 100 fights. Even though he's had fewer professional bouts, that experience is valuable. He hasn't fought the same level of competition that Benavidez has, and that's a key advantage for Benavidez. Experience is always important, but so is pedigree. As I said, he comes from Cuba, where from the moment you start boxing, it's all about becoming a world champion. For many, part of the drive is escaping the hardships of a communist country, seeking a better life, and chasing your dreams. That's the kind of mentality you bring with you. Benavidez, on the other hand, comes from similar bloodlines. For him and his father, it's all about becoming champions, and that shared focus is ingrained in his approach. The journey of a champion, both in and out of the ring, is about maintaining that status and representing yourself with pride. This concept is something both fighters embody. They're known for their power, and the media has played a significant role in amplifying the debate surrounding their recent fight. The controversy deepened when media outlets published unofficial scorecards that overwhelmingly favored Benavidez, with a score of 75, aligning with the consensus among fans.
Here, that's it. Look, the Benavidez best plan. It's 12 round. You know, this time is the really secret. I never fight plan before. I mean, I think so plan not have too much power for Benavidez. So you know, he's the big guy. He's as stronger too. So you have like the good lefts. You training hard. You have power. You have everything. I mean, not nothing for you.
Keep your
I can dance. I have move. You know, I can dance. Benavidez can dance.
The statistical analysis and the opinions of the media further illustrated a disconnect between the judge's interpretation and the data available. Social media exploded with the hashtag #Robbery, drawing comparisons to infamous, disputed decisions in boxing history. Behind the scenes, Benavidez's team filed formal appeals with both the WBC and WBA. However, history suggests that overturning the result is unlikely. On the other hand, Morrell's team, while open to the idea of a rematch if the financial terms are right, has been facing increasing scrutiny. Their victory is now overshadowed by accusations of illegitimacy, and the sport is grappling with yet another credibility crisis. The fallout from the decision extends far beyond the ring. Benavidez's path to a lucrative fight with Canelo appears more uncertain, while Morrell's undefeated record now carries an asterisk in the court of public opinion. In an interview, Benavidez acknowledged his mistakes, admitting that he left himself open more than he would have liked. He explained, "I definitely made a lot of mistakes that exposed me more than I wanted." When asked about the possibility of a rematch, Benavidez responded, "I'm not going to wait 3 years for a rematch. That's too long." He was also asked about the difference in body shots during the fight. Benavidez reflected, "Maybe I should have focused more on the body, but the truth is, he was heavier than usual, and his punches didn't feel as strong as mine did. I wasn't feeling his punches as much as he probably felt mine." The pay-per-view numbers, revealing an impressive 650,000 buys, serve as proof of the fighter's drawing power. As a result, the demand for a rematch became a financial inevitability. Even as Benavidez toyed with the idea of moving up to light heavyweight, the financial draw of a second fight loomed large. Ultimately, the legacy of this fight may depend on whether boxing's power brokers prioritize justice for Benavidez or allow the controversy to persist, further eroding the trust of an increasingly disillusioned fan base. David Morrell expressed his disappointment with the outcome of the fight, but also acknowledged the incredible skills of his opponent, Benavidez, and the tough competition he faced. Morrell admitted that he encountered difficulties during the match.
Down to 168. I don't care if Canelo, if he wanted to fight me and told me to go down to 168. I don't care about that money. I don't care about none of that. I was at 168 for a while. 3 years. I was #1 contender. I was not given that opportunity, so now I'm here at 175 fighting the guys that have balls that actually take on their #1 contenders.
Have you completely lost hope in that fight happening?
I don't think about that fight. I mean, I only think about what's on the table, and I only think about what's ahead of me. I knew that this fight was potentially, we could make it. We made it happen. Now I'm only thinking about this fight and then unifying the titles after.
but he still praised his own efforts and determination. He noted that he would use this loss as a learning experience and promised to come back stronger in his future fights. Benavidez successfully defended his interim WBA light heavyweight title and added the WBC light heavyweight championship to his collection, winning the fight via unanimous decision over Morrell. His signature relentless pressure, volume punching, and body attacks allowed him to take control of most of the fight, outworking Morrell and breaking him down over the rounds. While Morrell demonstrated the great skill and resilience, Benavidez's high pace and physicality proved to be too much for the Cuban fighter. Even before the fight began, Benavidez's confidence was unwavering. His victory over David Morrell solidified his dominance in the super middleweight division. With relentless aggression, precision, and power, Benavidez demonstrated that he is the best in his class. His performance left no doubt about his skill and determination to reign supreme in the division. Beyond the personal grudge, the outcome of this fight has significant implications for the future of the super middleweight division. With Benavidez's victory, his campaign for a mega fight against Canelo Alvarez has gained even more momentum. This win solidifies his position as a top contender, and a potential showdown with Canelo is now even more highly anticipated. There is a huge demand for this fight. While many were excited about the possibility of a Morrell versus Benavidez matchup, some critics felt that it was too soon for Morrell to take on such a challenge. Morrell's performance in his previous fight did not leave the best impression, and there were doubts about whether he was ready for a top-tier opponent like Benavidez. However, some believed that Benavidez didn't look his best in his previous fight either, although he did still manage to win. This situation reminded some of how Fernando Vargas was moved along too quickly in his career, especially when he fought Trinidad. People were eager to see that fight, but after the match, it became clear that Vargas was too young and wasn't quite ready for such a high-level contest. Similarly, there's a possibility that Morrell could be given a boxing lesson if he faces Benavidez too early in his career. Benavidez, known for his movement, jab, and busy work in the ring, is expected to show his superior skills in a potential fight against Morrell.
Post to gain him more than I wanted. Next question.
David, I wanted to ask you a couple things. When it comes to a rematch, is that something that you'd like to wait maybe a couple years for before you jump back into it? And then if you can also elaborate on the difference in body shots. It doesn't seem like you really paid a lot of attention to the body like he did.
Next question. I'm not going to wait like 3 years. That will be a long time. And as far as whether he wasn't looking for the body enough, that maybe that was the case. Yes, where I felt that I should have looked for the body more, but in that sense, you know, he was heavier than normal, and it wasn't like he was hitting me that hard either, where like I wasn't feeling his punches a lot more than he was feeling mine.
Although Morrell has a puncher's chance, thanks to his incredible athleticism and power, Benavidez's experience and technical proficiency could be the deciding factor in a fight between these two rising stars. In any case, the fight between Benavidez and Morrell promises to be a thrilling matchup with significant stakes in the super middleweight division. Boxing often calls for two great fighters to rise up and face off, and that's exactly what we're seeing in this upcoming battle. These two fighters, both highly skilled in their division, have moved up from 168 pounds to 175. The fight couldn't be made at 168, but at 175, David Benavidez said, "Let's make this fight happen." At first glance, David Benavidez appears to have some weight to lose, with his physique resembling that of a Tyson Fury in the 175-pound division. However, when it comes to boxing, it's not about weight. It's about technique, style, and execution. David Morrell has a fantastic opportunity to showcase his skills, but I'm not sure it will be enough to defeat David Benavidez. Benavidez brings too much power and too many combinations to the table for Morrell. Morrell hasn't yet fought someone in the top 2 or 3 of the division, while Benavidez has gone up against tough competitors like Caleb Plant and other notable fighters. Benavidez is the clear favorite going into this fight, but I want to hear your thoughts on it. What do you think? On the other hand, if Morrell were to come out victorious, it would be a massive step forward in his career, propelling him to superstardom and cementing him as a legitimate force in the division. Though Morrell's loss was a setback, his performance in the fight still demonstrated his potential and resilience, leaving fans hopeful for his future. The super middleweight division remains an exciting battleground, with both fighters playing key roles in its ongoing story.
We sold the fight. You know, a lot of people went to see, a lot of people bought pay-per-view, and it was a great fight. You know what I mean? I think I showed what level I'm on. You know what I mean? I don't know what percentage I landed at, but I landed a lot, you know, against a great fighter. What'd you say? 41%. 41 is pretty good. That's really good. And I don't think I got hit that much either, you know what I mean? So I think that just shows what level I'm on, fighting with great fighters like this. And I'm just excited to keep putting on great fights like this, you know, calling out the best fighters and fighting with them in big arenas like this. You know what I mean? This is what I'm...
That being said, the fight wasn't without its moments of danger for Benavidez. Early on, Morrell landed a well-timed power shot that hurt Benavidez and put the undefeated Mexican-American in some trouble. Then, in the 11th round, Morrell stunned the crowd with a dramatic knockdown, shifting the momentum in his favor, even if just for a moment. However, the momentum quickly shifted back when Morrell suffered a controversial setback at the end of the round. He landed a punch after the bell, which led to the referee deducting a point from Morrell. This decision drew immediate backlash from both fans and fighters, sparking a debate about the fairness of the call. After his father's victory, David Benavidez' son, Anthony, was visibly excited and proud. He celebrated by showcasing his own boxing moves, impressing fans with his skills. Just like his dad, Anthony's enthusiasm and joy were clear as he shared the moment with both fans and the media, expressing his admiration and support for his father. Despite the controversy, Benavidez emerged victorious, and the future of both fighters looks bright. Benz's recent victory has solidified his position in the boxing world. His impressive performance not only earned him the WBA regular title, but also the WBC interim light heavyweight belt. This win sets the stage for a potential showdown for the undisputed light heavyweight title later this year. Although Benavidez had previously expressed interest in facing Canelo Alvarez for the super middleweight crown, his latest victory and the new belt have shifted his focus. His dream of facing Canelo is now on hold as he concentrates on even bigger challenges in the light heavyweight division. Benavidez's future in the ring looks even more promising, with new opportunities on the horizon. Benavidez's victory over David Morrell was a testament to his skill, power, and resilience. Despite early adversity, including a moment of vulnerability in the early rounds and a knockdown in the 11th, Benavidez showcased why he's known as the Mexican Monster. His relentless pressure and high work rate ultimately broke down Morrell over the course of the fight, earning him a clear, unanimous decision victory. A controversial point deduction against Morrell for a punch after the bell added some drama to the bout, but it didn't overshadow Benavidez's dominant performance. This win has refocused his attention on the light heavyweight division, possibly marking the beginning of a new chapter in his career. Although his dream of facing Canelo Alvarez at super middleweight is on pause for now, Benavidez's future is filled with exciting possibilities as he continues to rise through the ranks. The boxing world eagerly anticipates his next move. In a post-fight interview, Benavidez reflected on his victory. "Yeah, I feel really good, man. I knew it was going to be a hard fight. That's why I trained extremely hard. We talked a lot of talk, but at the end of the day, we showed the fight. A lot of people came to see it. A lot of people bought pay-per-view, and it was a great fight. I think I showed what level I'm on. I don't know what percentage I landed at, but I landed a lot against a great fighter." He was told his connect rate was 41%, to which he responded, 41%? That's really good, and I don't think I got hit that much either. I think that just shows the level I'm on. Fighting against great fighters like this, I'm just excited to keep putting on great fights, calling out the best, and fighting in big arenas. This is what I'm made for. What do you think of David Benavidez's performance against David Morrell? Share your thoughts and opinions in the comments below.